Steps to recognize yourself. Finding out you are naive to someone is the most significant mastery you can acquire. When you understand who you are, you learn what you need to do rather than glancing for confirmation from others. It enables you to avoid lots of frustration induced by settling time into the false creatures. Yes, energy is supposed to be full of litigation and omission, but this allows you to find decent areas for you to strive. Once you realize yourself, you will become more optimistic, you will comprehend your objective, and you will begin making an enormous influence on the world. So how can you know who you are and what you ought to do in life? Here are the 6 steps you need to take to know your credible self. Number 1. Be peaceful. You cannot and will not be able to find out yourself until you take the time to be quiet. Many people don't know themselves because any denomination of quiet frightens them. It's too painful to be deserted with every weakness glancing around at them. But it exists until you get deserted. Consider yourself and are truthful with yourself that you will be able to see every aspect of your life, the good and the bad. Be peaceful and find out your credible someone. 2. Know who you truly are, not who you want to live. I understand you already have a formal impression of who you desperately prefer to be, but it might not be who you were constructed to be. When you realize who you are, you will ultimately discern where you and your particular blessings are reasonable in the bigger resemblance. And although there are many steps along your mission to enable you to find out yourself, the best direction to commence is to take a temperament trial and the strengths finder trial. If it's been 5 or more years since you've completed either of these, take them again. No, these self-evaluations aren't precise, but they do identify your top areas of stability, so you can concentrate on the modification you were implied to bring into the world. 3. Find what you are favorable at, and not adequate at. This might be the riskiest step in finding out who you truly are, but it's a necessary one. Sure, it takes ordeal and offense to find what you're good at, and no, I don't want you to give up before you've had more than enough endeavors, but knowing when to end is a blessing that everyone needs to comprehend. Quit when you've settled in considerable time and your undertakings aren't giving back. What is sufficient time? Only you can decide that. But when you quit correctly, it isn't giving up, it's making room for something reasonable. When your efforts do nothing but sift you, rather than produce more fascination and boost your drive to do more, that's a good indication it is time to concentrate elsewhere. Your strengths will show you who you are. Number 4. Find what you are enthusiastic about. The following excitement of any kind is a reasonable aspect, and you need to engage interest when it comes because it shows an area of existence that you need to engage more intuition to. If we're talking about following your excitement in work, it's a good thing. And if we're talking about having more enthusiasm for life, it's a good aspect. Focus more on enthusiasm, understand yourself in better ways, and you'll make a bigger influence. Enthusiasm produces action and consecutive endeavor produces outcomes, which produces a deeper discovery of your credible someone. 5. Ask for acknowledgement. If you don't realize yourself, heeding what others have to assert about you is a helpful exercise. Ask them 2 simple questions. What strengths do you think I need to develop further? And what weaknesses do you think I need to work on? Of course, their opinion isn't going to be perfect, but their feedback will probably predict a few areas you should at least take a second look at. This step is particularly important for those who are stabbed in finding themselves. Sometimes those closest to us can see something we might not be able to see in ourselves. 6. Assess your connections. A large aspect of finding out yourself can be found in your connections. When you realize you'll never truly know anyone else until you discover yourself, the importance of knowing yourself becomes even more obvious. This truth especially rings true for business leaders, because if you don't know the people on your team, then you will be lost as a leader. But this rule also applies to any connection in your life. Almost as much as you need to know yourself, other people also need to know who you are. People need you, the real you. Use your reflections to fight your enormous anxieties, because when you understand who you are, your objective will finally become enormous than your anxieties. When you realize who you are, you will spend less time spinning your wheels. Focusing on your endurance gives you the needed adhesion to make a bigger and better difference in the world. When you know yourself, you will find more stability, and you will find success quicker than ever before. For better health and well-being, keep watching and sharing. For more videos, subscribe our YouTube channel, Wear Your Energy, and press the bell icon.